Hey, what's up guys? Mike's here. Are you ready? Oh yeah. I'm just gonna warning you guys, this part right here you're about to see is not safe for work. So yeah, I'm gonna be careful with you guys because these ones are not safe for work. So I'm gonna have to read it along and I had to like not to be disgusted by it. So I'm just gonna to read to you guys, but I'm very serious. It's not safe for you. So if you don't want to see this little sexual scene right here, skip this part, okay? Guys, skip this part, man. Or you're gonna have to just find another video, or wait until the end of it. So if you don't like some NSW stuff, just skip this video. And as for the month of November, this is the first video we're gonna do for NSW in November. So welcome to NSW in November. NSFW in November. So all these things here is not safe. I mean, really not safe. So let's start with part 10 of this whole thing. Moth and Flame. Keith has always known that Lance is addicting. He's known from the moment they met. From the moment he left that shop was his first tattoo, and a lightness in his chest that followed him all the way home, igniting again every time he looked at his new ink. Every time he touched it and imagined Lance's slender, skillful hands, the little pinch in his brow as he concentrated. He's known for the moment he found himself stepping in foot in that shop time and time again. Either for the new tattoos or simply see him under the guise of visiting pitch. He's known for months as he dreamed of bronze-skinned eyes like the ocean, and smiled to Violet's sad self. He's known from the moment he saw those elegant hands move, speaking to him with ease and fluidity he's not used to getting from anyone that he hasn't known for years. He's known from the moment those hands touch him, calculating, precise, yet gentle and caring, carving art into his flesh without a second of hesitation or uncertainty, calm as the eye of a storm in his element. He's known from the moment those blue eyes catch his, from the moment that cocky smile flipped his stomach upside down, sending him into a state of vertigo as wasps and butterflies fought in his chest. He always known that Lance is addicting, but he never really understood the depth of it until he truly got a taste. Once he did, he knew he was beyond saving. They stumbled through the door into his apartment, lips locked and hands groping. It had taken him far too long to even get the damn thing open. Keys fumbling in his trembling hands as Lance plastered himself to Keith's back, lips on his exposed neck, tongue tracing the symbol he had tattooed there, hands zipping past the waistband of his shorts, just enough to be teasing, just enough to make him shudder and bite his lip, all while his hips made slow, circling motions behind him, running to him in a show of desperation to contradict his otherwise slow movements. Once the door was open, they had nearly fallen through, and Keith dragged Lance all the way in before, slamming the thing shut, locking them away, private, alone, finally. Finally! He pushes him up against the wall right there, barely 3 feet into his apartment, tossing his keys vaguely in the direction of his side table. He knows the second that the key slips his hands that he's going to miss. He doesn't care. He's too busy drowning in his taste, in the feel of him, in the scent of him. He grabs for the zipper to the hoodie Lance is wearing. As cute as he is seeing him in his clothes, he needs to be gone. Now, he zips it down, struggling to make it detach, pushing against the fabric with shaking hands until Lance gets the hint and helps him shrug it off. Keith's jacket comes off in much in the same fashion in impatient hands. Desperate shoves, her hands are back on each other before it even hits the ground. The process of kicking off shoes is a lot less graceful. He has no idea where they land as they toss aside. His body at Lance's bottom lip, waiting for an unpredictable gasp. The slight opening, before pushing his tongue inside, tasting more, tasting deeper, licks hard and deep. Doesn't care if he's being pushing. Doesn't care if it's sloppy and uncoordinated. Wants more. Needs more. Lance doesn't seem to mind. His back arches, sucking in breaths and breathing out heavily through his nose. His hands find a way into Keith's hair, ripping out of his ponytail to birdie. He gets a firm grip, clenches his fist to give that soft but sharp tug. As Keith is tilting his head back just a fraction, moan vibrating in his throat. Lance surges forward, claiming his mouth, just as savage and sloppy as Keith had been, just as desperate, just as needy. Keith's hips can't forward into Lance's, swallowed the vibration of his moan, reveling in the sharp intake of breath. Something about Lance's hips and his hands made Keith's brain short circuit, all proper function buzzing out, makes his body run on autopilot, fills his mind with fog, drowning and lost in sensations, creates a disconnect between body and mind, leaves him reeling, out of body, yet able to still feel everything, crave everything. He can't bring himself to mind, can't bring himself to stop. He likes it, loves it, wants more. More. He's drowning, he doesn't want to come up for air. His lungs burn, no amount of desperate gas able to fulfill them. But he can't stop, not when it lands his tongue in his mouth and his hands are sliding down his back, fingers curling around his ass, squeezing, pulling together against him. Keith's back arches, mouth dropping open as guttural escapes his lips. He may be deaf now, but turns out old habits are hard to break, especially when pushed beyond a reason as he is. Turns out cursing is one of those things. There's simply something primal about murmuring curses, words that slip out in the heat of the moment, revealing tension just as much as the gasp or moan. He's willing to bet Lance moutly, probably babbles, all incoherent or voice cracking. He really freaking wishes he could hear that. He doesn't have time to dwell on it, however, because Lance's teeth are at his collarbone and draws are any thoughts besides. Oh, holy Jesus. Yes, more. Like that. Oh God. Oh God. Oh God. The world whirls and his back hits the wall. Lance is still there, pressed against him, mouth at his neck, hands sliding up his sides, beneath his shirt, up his ribs, down his chest, long fingers played to feel as much as he can, down his stomach, hooking to the waistband of his shorts. Then Lance is gone, leaving him breathless and reeling. He blinks, seeing nothing but the wall across the hall. It takes him a moment of his senses to come back to him. Feel the hands on his hips. Lips soft and tantalizing, pressed to his stomach, and he gasps, back arching. His gaze is now downward, catching sight of Lance on his knees in front of him. Lips sliding teasingly across his exposed stomach, making his muscles clench and coil. Then he looks up and Keith is gone, spiraling through the ceiling and into the atmosphere as Lance gazes up at him. Eyes dark and light and lidded, lips pulled back into a coy smile, letting Keith knows he knows exactly what he's doing on him, and that he's goddamn proud of it. Holding eye contact as he moves to one of Keith's hip bones, sticking his tongue out slowly, revealing that blue bead that always teased and haunted him, and drags his tongue slowly, oh so slowly, from hip bone to hip bone, making sure Keith can feel the metal pressed into his skin. Keith's breath stutters out, holding until Lance is down before leaving in the rush. Jesus. He breathes in the exhale, hands quivering and uncertain. He presses them to the wall behind him, grounding, steadying. Lance's smile is deadly, a perfect mix between a cocksure grin and a predatory smirk. Makes heat rush through his veins, a live wire that leaves sparks crackling through his skin, along his skin. Fingers of one hand curl into his waistband, hovering there, implying but not pushing. He holds eye contact with Keith, brows raised in question as he signs with his free hand. Can I? The vague gesture is more than enough for Keith to know exactly what he's asking. He just nods, licking his bottom lip, mouth suddenly dry. Lance just smiles, as reassuring as it is eager. It's cute, and no one, repeat, no one has the fucking right to look at that goddamn cute while on his knees, popping the bottom of Keith's shorts and unzipping them, pushing them down to his ankles. He looks up, grins as just like he received a goddamn present, and palms Keith's semi through his boxers. Keith's hand whips back so fast it cracks against the wall. He squeezes his eyes shut. Hissing his pain radiates from his hand, and pleasure rushes through the rest of him. Lance's hand stills, and looks down in time to see the look of worry. Keith gives him a small, shaky smile. Doesn't move right away. He lifts his hand from the wall, tentatively running his fingers through Lance's hair, nails slightly scratching his scalp, cupping his cheek. Lance hums, he feels it, and leans into the touch, eyes fluttering close for a moment. When they open, that spark of determination is back, and Keaton knows he's Lance leans forward and has no shame as he mouths him through the thin material of his boxers. He breathes in sharply through his nose, stiffening, fingers curling slightly into his hair. He presses his tongue flat to him, letting Keith feel that skin stud against his length. He wondered for ages about how that might feel on him, and now he's going to find out. Holy f***, he's about to find out. Either Lance recognizes his eagerness or he's driven by his own patience, but it's not long before he's pulling away, grabbing Keith's boxers and pulling them down, achingly slow, revealing him inch by inch, staring at him with rapt attention to wide-eyed awe, like he's something to be marveled at, like he's something worth to be gentle with. Keith has never really been shy, not about his body at least. But here it is, holding his breath as his half-hard cock stands at attention in front of the man's he had been dreaming about for almost an entire fucking year. Heat rushing up his neck and settling onto his cheeks that longer Lance just kneels there and stares at it. Like that, all he's doing. Just staring. The smirk is gone. The eagerness dissipated. Just blank face and stare. He clenches his fist against the wall, willing himself to be still, to wait, but feeling more and more restless. He stares at the top of Lance's head, apprehension roaring through his gut, rising up his chest in a thick sludge, threatening to choke him. Then Lance cocks his head to the side, hands sliding up Keith's thigh, slow but not teasing, more curious. Without any hesitation, he slides his hand over, fingers wrapping around the base of his cock, causing his breath to hitch. But then he just holds it, staring again. When he looks up, it catches Keith off guard. He jumps, suddenly caught by those curious eyes. He doesn't look upset, so that's at least something. He raises an eyebrow, eyes flickering down before rising again. His hand shifts, fingers slowly rising up his shaft, thumbs sliding up down their side, pressing lightly toward the metal ghost beneath his skin. Oh. Lance didn't know about that, did he? Well, he does now. Keith's eyes flicker to his free hand as he signs. When? Keith looks back to him, small and sheepish. A little over 2 years ago. He seems Lance's lips form over as he ducks his head down again, twisting his wrist just a little to get a better look at the barbell that he goes horizontally through his skin beneath the head. That's good. I like it. He signs, glancing up again. And just like that, the heat is back. Lance is looking at him through half-lidded eyes, pupils blown so wide as his eyes look back, wet and red and lips curved to almost devious smiles. He makes a show of licking those lips, little blue bead peeking out. He's close enough that Keith can feel every exhale caress his heated skin. I want to taste it. He is pretty sure he makes some sort of choke sound, because that's what it sure as hell feels like. But he doesn't have much time to react before Lance leans forward and runs the flat of his tongue along its length from base to tip, and holy fuck, he can feel the small, hard, unyielding bead trail all the way up, surrounded by the slick wetness of his tongue. Lance paused, bringing the devilish tongue back to his mouth to grin up at Keith, looking for all the world like the cat and got the cream. Keith leans his head back, forcing his grip to loosen Lance's hair, letting his eyes fall close with a shuddering breath. Lance already touched him, and he's already a mess. Yet he can't bring himself to feel ashamed. Let Lance see what he does to him. Let him see how little he has to do to make Keith fall apart. Let him see how much Keith wants him, how weak Keith is to him. It'll go straight to his ego, but Keith isn't entirely sure that's a bad thing. He barely gets any time to center himself, to calm his raging heartbeat, before Lance is suddenly swallowing him down. His eyes fly open, entire body tensing and Lance's lips close around him, going much further down than he has anticipated. It has his toes curling, entire body tensing, fingers tightening, and his hair once again. His mouth falls open, a strangled sound escaping. The boy is glad he's deaf, so he can't hear that. Lance goes down fast, but comes up slow, lips tight, and the wet head of his mouth settling Keith's blood on fire. He's quickly loose to sensations. Lance bobs his head, one hand working what his mouth can't reach while his free hand gropes at his thigh, running up and down and around to his ass, up to his hip, unable to be still. His tongue possibly sinful as it dances in his mouth, fully utilizing its dexterity, and how he's so good at this. Keith's heart hammers against his chest, one hand pressed into his mouth and to hold back the sounds that are slipping out. He can feel how loud they are and knows how embarrassing they must be. His other hand stays buried in Lance's hair, not to move him, but as an anchor. His legs are weak, and if it weren't for the wall, he had fallen the moment Lance touched him. Pathetic. Weak. But dear Lord, does it feel good.
He's over synthesized, lost in it, simultaneously drowning and flowing off the space. He doesn't notice how close he is until that familiar tight heat starts up low in his gut, building hard and strong. He gasps, back arching off the wall, and hand tugging a little harder at Lance's hair. Lance! Wait! He stops instantly, popping off of him in a way that's so visual obscene. Spit slicking his lips and his chin, hair a mess. He looks filthy, and does nothing to help his mental state. He looks up at him. Cautious curiosity in those dark blue eyes. Keith takes a deep breath, trying to steady himself, ground himself. Find his voice, he can feel it shaking, but it's no doubt steadier than his hands at the moment. If you keep, I'm close. The slow curl to his mouth should be illegal. He sends a quick, okay, making it look like a short salute before leaning back in. His swirls his tongue around the head, making his tongue to gently tease his piercing against Keith's. And that should not be as hot as it is, but it has to keep quivering. Then he gets back to where it slides into his mouth, takes in deep, moaning around in a way that he has to be wanted and loud, and Jesus, does he feel it. He feels the answering vibration in his own throat. Then Lance drags back, sucking hard, tongue swirling. Keith has a moment of panic, dangerously close to the edge, but he's already warned Lance if he's in this position, he knows the dangers. So Keith lets go, squeezes his eyes shut as his gut clenches, sees stars as his mouth drops open, throat tight, choking back sound as he spills into Lance's mouth. He thinks he loses time, blacks out for a moment, lives for several seconds, minutes, hours among the dark abyss, then starts behind his eyes. But feels the wall at his back, despite it being the only thing that's holding him up. It's all he can do to simply breathe. He doesn't come back down to earth until he feels a hand on his hip, another running warm fingers along his jaw, his cheek brushing hair away from his forehead. He opens his eyes to find that beautiful face in front of him. Blue eyes, soft and molten and fond. That smile so subtle, so gentle, barely there yet brighter than the sun. It makes his chest squeeze, jacks his hair straight back up again. Oh God, that's going to be the death of him. Good? He nods. Very. Lance chuckles. His laughing face is beautiful and sweet and soft. The way he shakes slightly, the way his cheeks rise and crinkles eyes, the way his smile goes just a little lopsided. What now? He asks before setting his hand on Keith's hips, taking a step closer, pressing his forehead to Keith's, still smiling, still sweet, still so obnoxiously proud of himself. Keith wants to shake that. Keith wants to shatter the mountain on which he stands, wants to rip it out from beneath him and watch him fall, wants to see that confidence crumble in ecstasy, wants to see the face he makes when he moans his name, wants to shatter him and build him back up again. He leaps forward, curling a fist into the front of his shirt, tips his chin so that the lips are just a breath apart, gazes at him through half-lit eyes, and says in a voice he can feel is husky, "Now, I'm gonna write you until you can't think straight, and I'm gonna find out what your pretty little face looks when you scream my name." Lance leans back far enough that his wide eyes could focus on Keith's face, pretty lips, red and swollen, parted slowly in surprise. Adam's apple bottom as he swallows heavily. He licks his lips, Keith's eyes drawn to the moment, before giving a short, quick nod. "Yes, please." Keith smirks, feeling himself gain confidence as Lance stuttered. He pushes Lance hard, having him stumble back a few steps, before following him, leaning after him, leaning to him to claim his lips once again. He can taste himself on Lance's tongue, but he can't bring himself to care. They stumble through Keith's apartment, stepped on certain and on shaking legs. He tries to guide them as the best he can with his eyes closed, lips locked, and Lance's tongue in his mouth. Their hands are everywhere, unable to find a place to simply rest. He tugs at Lance's shirt, all at once, extremely annoyed that's there at all. He grabs at it, pulling until Lance takes the hint and attempts to struggle out of it. It requires them to pull apart for a moment. In a second, it's over his mouth. He's back at his lips, biting and licking his way past them. Lance gets stuck for a moment, with his arms in a tank, halfway pulled over his head. As soon as it's cast to the floor, his hands are on Keith's, pulling the shirt over his head with much more ease. Then there's bare skin, warm and smooth, lined and lean. His hands explore Spence's Lance's chest, fingers dipping into the definition, mapping it out. He pulls back briefly, taking a moment to simply drink in the sight of his bronze flesh. The tattoo sleeve on one arm, riding up his shoulder, the mask of blue forget-me-nots falling down his opposite side. The sparkling silver beads of his hip piercings that stand out in stark relief against the skin beneath them. And then he leaned forward, dipping his hand to run his tongue over that chest, tasting the salt of his skin, hands on his hips, wrapping it around his waist to dip past his shorts, grabbing his ass in a grip tight enough to have him arching back, hips bucking forward. Bedroom, right. bedroom. Needed to get there. That's where all his is. And the bed. He'd be willing to take Lance anywhere at this point, but some part of him, that side that's still struggling to keep from drowning, wants to have their first time in a proper bed. Lance deserves that. Deserves to be taken in a place that's soft and warm and comfortable. And if that means he gets pleasure bringing him to orgasm while he's laid out over heats. Yeah, he's okay with that, too. He pushes, they stumble, hit walls, trip over the discarded shoes, and whatever the hell else he has left on the floor. Then he takes a step backwards, pulling at Lance, who loses his balance and pushes into it. Several rapid steps backwards. His knees hit the side out of the couch, and they both tumble over onto it. Keep Lance on his back, legs still half caught on the armrest. Lance lands on top of him, knocking the wind out of him and head hitting his jaw. They both groan, and Lance rolls to the side, falling off to the edge of the couch to land on the floor. They take a moment to simply breathe. He lays his hand over his chest, daughter flopping off the edge of the couch as he stares at the ceiling. He doesn't move until he feels warm fingers slowly intertwine with his own. He turns then, propping himself on an elbow and gazing over the edge of the couch to where Lance lies on the floor. His lips purse into a cute little pout. Brows firmly pinched together, but it's clear that he's trying not to smile. Put the couch here. This is the living room, dumbass. You really shouldn't leave couches out in the middle of everything, Key. It's dangerous. He rolls his eyes, then promptly rolls himself off the couch. He makes sure to catch himself so he doesn't land too heavily on Lance, but it's still hard enough to have the air to leave him in a rush. He settles on top of him, can't bring himself to feel awkward, despite being naked, while Lance is not, crosses his hands over his chest and rests his chin atop them. Smirks at him from his perch, lounges on him like he's been doing it all his life. Gives it that pretty face, takes it all in. He doesn't think he'll ever get tired of looking at Lance. Lance's grin finally breaks through, slowly and lazily. He sounds awkwardly with Key lying on his chest, but he managed well enough for him to understand. Hey there, beautiful. Come here often? He completes it with a waggle of his eyebrows. He rolls his eyes, rolling his hips down the slow, dirty grind. It's too soon for him to be hard again. They can feel Lance through his shorts, and yeah, that's not the scenting desire calling down his spine. Lance arches off the floor, beautiful at his mouth, parts for a gasp, before he's falling back flat. It gives Key a sly smile, eyes that would contain hunger. Gonna fuck me in the living room? Dirty boy. No, Keith says, sitting up as he does, slow and languid, dragging and calling his body as he does, just for the show. Lance watches, licks his lips, hands settling on Keith's hips, rubbing down and up his eyes, and he drags his hands on Lance's chest, fingers splayed wide, stops at his stomach, arches his back, and rolls his hips.